Hey man.
Hey man.
Hey man.
Hey man. Hey everybody and welcome to Hey Man. I am Josh and there is no Jacob today. He gets stuck in London. Poor him, right? When you get stuck in another country. So just me today. And I don't want to say just me. I mean, lucky you. Only me. I could do Jacob's voice, but I think it would just sound like my voice at this point in time. I used to do this voice, but then everybody thinks that the two of us sound exactly the same. So I'm just going to do my voice. How you doing, Jacob? Pretty good. And people listening, you might not even be able to tell. What have you been up to? Not much. Just got back from London. How was it? Pretty good. What'd you do? I went out and had some pints. I don't know what the fuck he says. But so today what I thought we would do that I've been promising you guys we were going to do for a little while is get to your emails. So we're going to read some emails. Remember, if I read your email on the air, you are going to get 2 free tickets to a show near you. So just so you know, if you're listening and you want to send in a question, any question, Hey Man Pod, that's man with 3 A's, heymanpod@gmail.com, heymanpod@gmail.com. All right. Let's start right off the bat. And these are some questions I got. I love these types of questions. This question is from Matt. And Matt wants to know best and worst babysitter I ever had growing up. Now, for Jacob, he won't be able to answer this, although I'm super curious what he would have said. But this is very interesting for me, man. So the worst babysitter I ever had was my brother, who his way of babysitting, basically he would wait till my parents left, and then he would just put us all in a closet because he felt like he really didn't want to watch us. But as long as he was being tasked to watch us, as long as he knew we were all in the closet, none of us could get hurt or get into shit, and he could just do whatever he was doing, which is, I remember that one of my brothers, whenever he would babysit, he used to invite his girlfriend over and go upstairs in the room and listen to music. That was my other brother. I had 3 older brothers. The one who's right above me never babysat me, but I much preferred my brother who used to just have sex with his girlfriend over the one who used to stick us in the closet. And he would stick us in the closet and he would say, when my mom and dad pulled in the driveway, he'd be like, everybody out of the closet. And if anybody says a fucking word, it's going to be worse for you next time. So when my parents came in, they'd be like, hey, how was it? And we were like, Adam's the best. And they were like, great. But we knew, man, we didn't want them going out another time because that meant, dude, 2 hours, 3 hours in the closet with your brothers with no lights. It's not fun, especially as the youngest. You're taking a beating. People are farting on you. It smells. And he would say, you're no giggling or shit like that, right? It was crazy. He didn't want noise, nothing. So for sure, that was the worst babysitter I ever had. The best babysitter I ever had was this super cute college student who, listen, man, she never touched me, but I wish she did. Wow, it'd be a great story to tell right now, She was hot ski, man. Hot. And she liked me because I was, the youngest and definitely the cutest out of all my brothers. And I wasn't trying to fuck, and I think my oldest brother at the time, she wasn't babysitting him, but I think he was, he was trying to fuck, he would definitely pump. I bet you he did push-ups before she came over. That's the move right there, by the way. I bet you he did some legit push-ups before she came over. And I'm sure tried to deepen his voice. If you're a teenage boy and you meet like somebody's older, you definitely try to go down like that. But she was hot ski, man. I remember she used to wear these jean shorts. And I was just like, I don't know what that feeling is, but I like it a lot. Definitely the best babysitter. She let us do whatever and watch TV. And And she may or may not have let me sit on her lap once or twice. Cause I was always pretending like I was scared, I'm so scared. Can I sit on your lap? I mean, I knew enough to know that the lap was better than the couch. And I could tell by my brother's face, like he was like, I wonder if that'll work for me. I'm so scared. I'm such a scared 17-year-old. Can I sit on your lap? I mean, it was a different time too, It was a different time. But the jean shorts were enough for me, even at that age, where I was like, yeah, this is a great babysitting experience. And she was super cool. But that was definitely best and worst babysitters. No doubt worst brothers. I remember one time my brother Dan was babysitting and my parents went out and it was me, Dan, my brother Jonathan, and a buddy of mine, Gary. And Dan and Jonathan, we used to play this thing called slow-mo football, where you'd move in slow motion and tackle in slow motion. It was called slow-mo football. And everything was in slow-mo, and you would be like, you're moving too fast, I'm not, this is slow-mo for me. But, and it would, eventually it ended up fast-mo. You know what I mean? And somebody got hurt and then there was crying and then fighting and all that stuff. So we were playing some slow-mo in the living room, which was not where we were supposed to play slow-mo football. I believe slow-mo football was played in the basement where we threw darts at each other. And we were playing some slow-mo, but my brother tackled my other brother in fast-mo. And argument ensued. And my older brother was not hearing it. And I forget if he punched him or if he just threw him on the ground and kind of ragdolled him. But my brother Jonathan ran out of the room and came back with a knife. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. And my brother Dan picked up my friend Gary and put him in front of him and was like, go ahead, stab me. And Gary was like, what? And he was like, go ahead, stab me. You're not gonna do it. Go ahead, stab me. Jonathan had this knife. He's like, I'm gonna do it. And Gary was like, go fucking do it. And Dan was like, do it. And Gary never came back to the house after that. That was the last time. I went to Gary's house after that, But Gary's house also, I believe, was the house. Gary's house was definitely the house where, for his 13th birthday, his dad rented us 2 movies. Warriors, which at the time, guys, had been barred from a lot of movie theaters. Right now, you could show it on TBS, probably. But it had been barred from movie theaters for too violent language, and I think you saw like one titty or whatever. But it was about a gang called the Warriors. If you haven't seen it, it's a cult. If you ever heard Shaq go, can you dig it? It's from that movie, right? And so if you know that part of Shaq going, can you dig it? Right? That's from that movie. I probably have seen that movie, or it's either that movie. The movie I've seen the most. That movie, the original Star Wars, Fletch. Maybe This Is the End are probably the 4 movies I've seen the most. But and The Untouchables. I don't know why. And Forrest Gump. Oh, I remember Forrest Gump. I went to see Forrest Gump in the theater with this girl. And she was a stripper. And I took her to Forrest Gump. And there was a part in Forrest Gump where I teared up. And I was about to lean over and go, great movie, right? And she leaned before I could. I got tears like streaming down my face. And she didn't look at me. She just leaned over and she goes, this movie's so stupid. And I was like, yeah, that's right. It's so stupid. I felt like saying it's so stupid. I'm crying about it. So I'm at Gary's house. They get us the Warriors. And after the Warriors played, when we watched the Warriors, man, we were sitting up. We were fucking fake fighting and shit. 13 years old. We were men, Fuck, hell yeah, dude. And then the other movie he got for us was the Alice in Wonderland porn. None of us had ever seen porn. This is a different time when you didn't have porn in your pocket at 12 years old. And I remember seeing that porn, dude. Yo, we probably watched that. Oh, I don't know. because the party took place over 2 days. So we watched Warriors. If we watched Warriors 10 times, we watched Alice in Wonderland 9. And whenever we watched Warriors, we were sitting up, and whenever we watched Alice in Wonderland, everyone was laying on their stomach. Just dick straight into the carpet. I bet you they had to clean that carpet extensively after that birthday party. It was so, I mean, at the time, to have this guy get us those 2 movies, Gary Miles. And then we played, oh, dude, we used to have the most intense games of Nerf basketball, one-on-one Nerf basketball. Oh, where where the hoop you put over the door, it was a legit those were battles. Oh, I remember those so fondly, those Nerf hoop battles, man. Because no video games. And so we did a lot of, doing physical shit. But those Nerf games were intense. But yeah, man, best and worst babysitters. There you go. Answer numero uno. Email numero uno. Email numero dos, everybody. This one is from Tamara. And Tamara wants to know what the most trouble I ever got into growing up was. Well, this is an interesting question. There are a couple of answers to this. And I don't know if we want to do trouble with my parents or trouble with the law or trouble with school. So let's do trouble with the law. It's the only time I ever got in trouble. Nah, I mean, we got detained once I grew up in Amherst, Mass. We got detained once at the Amherst Fair. They used to do a fair there once a year over a weekend. And because we used to put shaving cream in our hands and just shaving cream people at the fair, And some people we knew, some people we didn't. And we'd run and hide and giggle and all that shit. Stupid kid shit. And one time we just got detained. There was also one time that a grown man was not happy we were doing it and ragdolled all of us. But legit, not even kind of kindly. Legit, like, I think we were like 10, 11. Like, one picked up one of my buddies and straight up slammed him, like, boom, on the ground. It was, and we were hated at the fair but that dude ended up getting more hated than us. But the most trouble I ever got into with the cops. So I used to get on Halloween, I used to get my candy stolen a lot growing up. Somebody with bigger kids would come by and just steal your pillow sack, your pillowcase. And you were just like, oh, my pillowcase. And they would take your candy and that was it. And until you got big enough where there was a couple of you where it was easier for them just to steal it from a 10-year-old. So me and 2 of my friends decided it's our turn to steal pillowcases. And, but we just weren't good at it. We were driving around and, this one kid, the first time we stopped, it's a small town and, my buddy had a mask on and he was walking up to this group of kids and they knew him. They knew him right away. They were like, hey, Vinny. And he was like, all right. He took his mask off. He was like, hey. So couldn't do that. And the second time, we pulled up and it was some young girls walking around together. None of us wanted to steal a little girl's bag. And this was at a time, dude, where you could be 10 years old and walking around in your neighborhood trick-or-treating without parents. So we see these 2 kids, probably 11, 12 years old. And so we got no sympathy for 11, 12. That feels like right around the time we would get our bags stolen and punched and all. And we weren't going to punch anybody. We were just stealing bags. So we hop out of the car and we try to take this kid's bag. And dude, I don't know if this dude did like grip strength at the house, but my friend who was like a 17-year-old on the football team couldn't fucking take it out of his hand. And his little friend gave it up. He just gave the bag up. I think he probably knew the deal. But this kid was holding on for dear fucking life. He was like, come on, kid, let go of the fucking bag. And he was like, no, you can't have my candy. He was like, let go of the bag. No, you can't have my candy, right? Finally just yanks. Man. And he gets it. We get in the bag and we get in the car and drive away. And maybe 2 days later, or wherever Monday was for school, I'm sitting in my English class and these two cops walk in. And I said out loud, somebody's in trouble. Turns out it was me. And they were like, Josh Wolf. And the first thing I'm thinking is, oh, somebody died in my family. Because I didn't do anything wrong. I was a pretty straight-laced kid. You know, I was mischievous and shit, but I wasn't, in my brain, committing crimes. And I'm going to tell you something right now. In no way, shape, or form did I feel like taking the pillowcase was a crime. I almost considered it rites of passage. Like, this happened to me. This happened to people before me. And before them, and this is going to happen to you. And that's just it's the way the ball bounces, you know? And so we go in, they pull me out of the class, going to the principal's office. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, hey, did you steal somebody's pillowcase at Halloween? And I was like, what? And I go, no, I didn't. Why would I? I didn't steal any pillowcase at Halloween. And he goes, you didn't? He goes, no. So then the cop's like, you're coming down to the station. So what they tell me is that this kid who we stole the bag from, who wouldn't let go, got my license plate. I was like, oh, I was mad. I'm like, this kid watches too much TV. How does he know? Why aren't his parents regulating his TV time? How does he know to get my fucking driver's license and and my plate? And this was not at a time where people had phones. He had to memorize that on his way home. Memorize it. Obviously not traumatized enough. Memorize it. And then write to his parents. This kid, I'm sure he's someone important right now. He was unshakable. Wouldn't let go of the bag. Gave us a hey, fuck you on the way out and memorized the license plate. I would love to know what this kid is doing now. I'm sure he's a huge success. So I am now at the police office, in the police station, and they're like, you know, this is what's going to happen to you. By the way, do you know who my lawyer was, Matt? The dude's dad who rented the porn for us. He was my lawyer. And I forgot that. Great lawyer, dude. And by the way, a maniac driver. This dude drove 90 down his driveway. But that was the most trouble I'd ever been in. And my parents were very disappointed. I was generally a good kid. I think we did get off. Why do I not remember the other two kids having a lawyer and going to court with me? I just remember me. I don't know if it was, you know, I don't remember. I don't remember them at the police station either. I don't remember. I don't remember why. I would have to check in with them. But maybe they had separate counsel. But yeah, definitely the most trouble I was ever in as a kid. Because I got pulled over with a keg in the back of my car. And the cop just took it and was like, come pick it up after the weekend. And it was empty. They just had a party. It was small town shit, you know? He was like, is that a keg in your back? I'm like, yes, sir. He was like, open the trunk. So I had to walk him back and open it up. And he was like, you guys pick it up, put it in the trunk of my car. So we had to get out of and pick up the fucking keg and put it in the trunk of his car. And I was like, oh, he didn't take my keys. He didn't take the car. I didn't get a ticket. He was like, just pick up the keg on Monday at the station. And I was like, well, what I was thinking was the beer's going to be warm, dude. You're just going to hold the beer for over the weekend? What a dick move. But then we went back and the keg was empty. And they were like, thanks for the party, gentlemen. And I was like, oh, what an asshole. But small town cop shit, you know? And also, small town cop shit in the 80s where they weren't really answering to anybody except each other, you know? But yeah, that was definitely the most trouble I was in as a kid. Although I did have a party at my house once when my parents were out of the country. And I remember I went to all my neighbors and I told them, I go, hey, I'm having a party. If you have an issue, please call me. You have my number. And so what I did, I took everything except stuff in the basement where the pool table was and shit. Everything out of the kitchen, out of my parents' room, out of my room, out of every room. I took, when I say everything, guys, everything. And I stacked it all in 2 rooms in the house and locked the door so nobody could get in. So it was like an empty house. And I was like, this is perfect. I'm going to charge $5 a head. Everybody walks in. And I think we made over maybe close to $1,000 that night, which at the time in the 80s for a fucking 16-year-old was a gazillion dollars. I'd never seen that much money in my fucking life. I was making as a dishwasher was probably $3.25 an hour or some shit like that. So this was like, I was rich, bitch, for sure. But you know what happened? That night, we were carrying the keg, the second keg, and the keg was stationed in the dining room because at our house, 2 sliding glass doors and the dining room was in between there. And the dining room was an add-on to the house. Not that we added on, but there was a house when it was built, a big gap garage. So somebody just put an add-on in the middle, right into the garage. So that ended up being our dining room. It had like a wood panel floor, and I dropped the keg on the floor, made a hole in it. And which was I was drunk and young, and I was like, I'll figure that out, closer to when my parents get home. And when I realized with the $1,000, because I was rich, that really wasn't going to buy a new floor. That was the first lesson of money right there. What do you mean? I got $1,000. He was like, you need a new fucking floor, dude. Floor. So could not afford a new floor for $1,000. Plus, even if he had said $1,000, I made that money. I wasn't giving up all of it. I was willing to pay $200. But you know what I mean? I wasn't willing to give away all my money. So what I thought was, look, the hole is like, if I move the table 6 inches because there was a rug under it, the rug will cover it up in a place where nobody will ever know. And who notices if a table is 6 inches? Do you know who notices? Grown-ups. I was not a grown-up. I did not notice. I did not know that at the time. I was like, what the fuck, 6 inches? Who's going to know? I wouldn't know. You know who noticed right when they walked in? My mom. Why did you move the table over? This is the first thing she said when she walked in. Why is the table there? And I was like, what? What do you mean? She goes, why is it over? I go, it's not over. She goes, it's over. Why is it over? Let's move it back. And I was like, I like it wherever it is. Let's move it back. And then I had to come clean with the hole in the floor, which wasn't great. I did get in trouble for that. Was that the most trouble I got in as a kid? I don't know, but I'd have to ask my parents. I didn't get in a lot of trouble as a kid, man. I was pretty good. I not that I didn't do shit, but I didn't do shit that would cause my parents to punish me. Because the shit I did outside the house. I didn't have a curfew. I was the youngest of 4 boys. So by the time they got to me, they were just like, hey, don't die. We're really tired of parenting. So the parenting advice we can give you is don't die. And that's it. Don't break our shit. Don't die. Don't crash the car, which I did. I didn't die, but I definitely drove the car directly into a tree. I wonder if I've ever told you guys that story. Have I told that story, Matt? Okay. So, so those would be at home for sure. And I didn't get into too much trouble at school either, guys. Like I said, man, I did shit but I never put myself in the spot where I was going to be the one who got in trouble. You know, my friend stole a pig. And Winnie the pig was this prize black pig from the college in town. And, you know, I think the plan was to, you know, raise it and then have a luau. But like front page news was, have you seen Winnie? So there had to be a ransom call from a payphone. We got the pig. It was a whole ordeal. But yeah, I kind of kept my nose pretty clean, man. Besides, you know, getting arrested a couple times and whatever with my parents. But yeah, those, I wanted to get to one more email, which I also like. And remember, emails, if I read them and I read your name, 2 tickets when I come close to you. Okay. The last email is from Jason R. in Texas. And Jason R. in Texas. See, I like also this. There's some parenting stuff, but I love it when you guys ask just general advice. And I love this question because it hits me near and dear. It's a long email, but I will break it down. He basically wants to know, should he take a job that he doesn't like, but that he'll make a lot of money doing? And I don't know what a lot of money is for him, but whatever. So I don't need to know the exact amount of money, because for him, it's a lot of money. That's really all that matters. But it's something he doesn't like, or continue to do what he loves, but that doesn't make him a ton of dough. Man, I think as someone who's a dream chaser, I think you can know my answer. Listen, when people are like, money it doesn't solve all issues. When, you know who says that? Rich people. Poor people are never like, yeah, I don't need money. It doesn't say, very rare. Or poor people, right? It's the rich people who are like, yeah, rich. And they're right. It doesn't. It does put a lot of worries to the side, though. It definitely takes care of a lot of that. But here's why I would say chase the dream. You're not an old dude. I'm looking at this age right now. You're 28. And what I would say is, and this is just for me, dude. I never want to live with what ifs. I never want to live with regrets. I want to chase the dream first. And if the dream is this job, which makes you happy, and there's potential, which it looks like there's potential for money in that job, you're young. You're young. Don't settle now. Don't settle now, because when you hate your job, you're there at least 40 hours a week. That means 40 hours a week, you are going to dislike what you're doing and where you are. That is a large portion of time. I don't know what your commute is. I would add those hours in there, right? I don't know if you have take-home stuff, but it's a large amount of time, man, to do something that you don't like. As somebody who spent a large portion of his life without money, I am a person who subscribes to the idea that you don't need it to be happy. As long as you're not continuously comparing yourself to other people, as long as you're not telling yourself what you don't have all the time, as long as you are grateful for the things that you do have. Yeah, dude, you know, there was a time in my life, I think I told you guys this, I had one pair of shoes for many years. Many years. There are some people who have zero shoes. Zero shoes, guys. There were times where I ate one meal a day when I was raising the 3 kids. One meal. There are many people who eat 0 meals a day. I had a roof, and I had these people, or these little people around me who loved me. I had a family who loved me, and I leaned into the things that did make me happy. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to thinking about all the things I couldn't do. There were so many. So many. So I do, look, I hear you when it's true, and you're like, well, only rich people say money doesn't make you happy. True. But I would say some of the happiest times of my life were when I had no money. When I was first starting comedy, some of the happiest times of my life. Just that running on pure hope and dreams and possibilities. What a fucking cool, before life had kind of smacked you around a little bit. And you're running on those three things, which are fucking, they fuel you with such amazing energy. I remember some of my favorite times in comedy have not been the sold out shows and the crazy energy coming from people in these amazing shows that you guys are helping me with over the last couple of years. Some of my favorite times in comedy was an open mic with three of my buddies afterwards, going to a diner where we could all afford a cup of coffee and talking about comedy, talking about the dream, talking about, ooh, that joke, or ooh, there was no pressure. There was nothing on it. It was so pure. And those are times I will never forget. So I would tell you, man, money will always be there. It will. And I hear people be like, making money is the easiest thing in the world. Not for everybody. But if you got this job that pays you money, you'll get another job that pays you money. But don't give up on your dream, is what I would say. It's so important. It's so important in my eyes to look, man, if you have a shot to have happiness and money, good Lord, dude. Happiness being the first part, not the money. Happiness, dude, cures a lot of things. So that's what I would tell you to lean into, my man. All three of you, I will send you an email asking where you are in the country, and 2 tickets on me to any of my shows. But thank you so much, guys. Send in your emails. Hey, man, pod. That's man with 3 A's. heymanpod@gmail.com. Anything, advice, whatever. And if we read it on the air, 2 tickets for you. That being said, guys, first of all, thank you so much to, I don't know, what was that? 800 people who came out in Reno to see the show. Great show. I had a great time. You were a chatty bunch, and I fucking loved it. There was a dude who showed up in a robe and a captain's hat with sunglasses on. Pretty amazing. I really love the weird outfits that you guys show up in sometimes. Reno definitely, there was an older contingent to the show. It looked like half the audience thought there was going to be bingo. There was not. But what a great show. I had a great time. But I'll be in Lexington, Kentucky, Friday and Saturday. And then after that, Boise on October 13th, Salt Lake City on the 10th and on the 11th and 12th, and Bozeman on the 10th. I'm not sure why I went backwards on that one. And then the week after that, everybody, is my birthday. And I will be on the 18th in Memphis, Tennessee. But on the 19th, I will be here in Las Vegas seeing My Chemical Romance. Guys, if you're listening to this, if you can subscribe, if you can leave a comment wherever you listen to it and give us a 5-star rating. If you can download, rate, and subscribe, guys, this would be amazing. Amazing for us. It really helps us. I know you hear every podcast say it. Every podcast says it because it is amazing for all of us. So I would appreciate it if you guys could take just a couple minutes and go do that for us. That would be spectacular. Oh, everybody. Now more than ever for me. There's something, I'm at that age where nostalgia is thinking back on my youth and what was fun and memories, and drinking beer was just a huge part of my growing up and college. And I loved cracking open beers with people. And I have to tell you, I missed it. I miss it more than I miss the beer, more than I miss like the drinking part of it. And so one of the you've heard me talk about how great Best Day Brew tastes. And when I call it a beer because it doesn't give NA vibes to me. It doesn't give, I'm drinking a non-alcoholic beer. It tastes like a broken brewski and delicious. And not only that, it brings back all of the nostalgia, all of the memories for me to be able to crack one open. So for those of you who aren't drinking, who miss the taste of beer, who miss being able to sit around with people and feel like dude, that is the hardest part about the not drinking. It's not the not drinking. It's being around people who are drinking all the time and feeling like there's a lot of FOMO, dude. This Best Day Brew gets rid of all the FOMO. All the FOMO. It's WOMO. I don't know what that means, but it feels better than FOMO. WOMO? WOMO? I was going to try to give an acronym, but my brain is not there today.
Worry of missing out.
Yeah, but it doesn't give worry of missing out. It gives NOMO. I don't know. Anyways, Best Day Brew, everybody. It is so good. And what I like about it also, owned small business. Dude is not selling to big business. Keeps it small batch, which sounds dirty. I don't know why small batch always makes it sound like I don't come that much. But it's small batch. And he hasn't sold it to any of the big companies, so he keeps the quality good. And yeah, man, Best Day Brew. I cannot recommend it enough for a multitude of reasons. Best Day Brew, go check it out. Guys, there is a news story that caught my eye, and when I read it to you, I think you will know why. The headline reads, "Man gets food poisoning in his penis after having, quote, vigorous sex, unquote, with his wife." Now, first of all, I want to commend the dude who wrote the title for this article for keeping it professional. I don't think I'd have been able to. But I think you guys know me. Like when I post all these news stories, I never read them. I like to comment on them before I read them. So then it doesn't impede my thought process or any humor. And my first thought was, why food boy? Like, did he put a skirt steak in his wife's vagina? Maybe that's the nickname for his wife's vagina. Skirt steak. Could be. Why is his wife's vagina giving people food poisoning? I am so stunned. And not only that, food poisoning implies that you're eating. He clearly did not get it in his mouth, just his penis. Does his penis, is it like a Pac-Man? Bucka, 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 bucka. And what? Like, food poisoning implies something has gone rotten. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it, but rotten things have a certain je ne sais quoi, right? So I look, man, I'm sure there have been some women who have gone down on some dude with some dusty nuts. I'm sure I was one of those dudes. I'm positive if you meet somebody out at a bar, especially in the southeastern part of the United States where it's real humid, you meet somebody out at a bar and you've been dancing and you go straight back to somebody else's house, it's going to be a musty situation. I can't speak for the vagina and how it works in humidity or after, an hour or two of dancing, but I can speak for nuts, and it's not great. It's not great at all. Plus, if there's sweat, to the window, to the wall, and the sweat runs down my balls, and there's the butthole is, you got to incorporate that into the whole smell situation. Terrible. I'm just thinking though, if your wife's vagina has some sort of, I don't know what food poisoning inside, a bacteria, I'm assuming there's going to be a different, and how do you not notice that in your wife? And is this something she caught from somebody else? Like, did somebody else go down on her with some bad fish in his mouth? Right? Or did this dude have like a rotten tomato in his tooth and a little bit got in there? Or maybe that's what happened with this guy. Maybe this dude the week before went down on her with some bad mojo in his juju. And so it transmitted from his mouth to her vagina and then from her vagina to his dick. Or maybe it wasn't bad in his mouth at the time, but you have something stuck in your tooth. And maybe it got jarred and it went into her vagina and it just rotted. But I just need to know why. Food poisoning implies that there is something extra in there, food, and that it went bad. So let's read. I'm going to have to take the non-functional glasses off so I can read this. A man has contracted a rare type of food poisoning in his penis following a bizarre set of circumstances. Following vigorous sex with his wife. I will say vigorous feels like he's kind of bragging for this guy. Unless vigorous is important to the, you know what I mean? Did the guy who got the food poisoning, I'm sure he was like, dude, I was really fucking getting in there. So I'm sure the guy writing in the article was like, this was vigorous. Is vigorous important? Did it need to be vigorous sex for this dude to get food poisoning? Couldn't it? It did? Okay, let's see. A 30-year-old man sought help after he found he was suffering from redness, swelling, and scabbing on his penis for the best part of a week. The best part of a week? What's the best part? Oh, got it. Well, that is weird.
The greater part.
Yeah, the best part of the week. So just Friday and Saturday? Okay. The man had also been suffering from severe diarrhea and vomiting. After being consulted by experts, a swab of the man's penis was taken to check what the infection was. The results showed traces of Bacillus cereus bacteria in the penis. Bacillus, B-A, just in case anyone wants to Google it, Bacillus cereus, Cereus, I don't know, is often found in rice that has been left at room temperature for too long. This didn't say anything about this being an Asian couple.
Lebanese.
Oh, Lebanese. Okay. Not that just Asians can eat rice, guys. I was just trying to make a joke. And it was a racist one. So just in case anyone was curious. All right. And perhaps one of the most surreal conclusions a set of doctors have ever come to, the man was told his genital infection was caused by diarrhea and vomiting. The man was told his genital infection was caused by diarrhea and vomiting, which was increased after he'd had sex with his wife due to the acceleration in blood vessels. That didn't make sense at all to me, that sentence. I understood all the words, but linked together like that made no sense to me. The bacteria is likely to have made contact with the man's groin during intercourse where it had infected the skin. Wait, so she had the food poisoning in her butthole? I'm a little confused. It's believed to be the first time a case of food poisoning has affected a penis. Well, fucking thank God. Gee, I mean, just the headline unlocked a new fear for me. Despite the rarity of the incident, it was treated relatively simply with remedy eye infections. A month later, the burning and discomfort had healed. A month later? A month later, the burning and discomfort had healed up? The study was published by the medics added in this current case. It is plausible the diarrhea and vomiting, which contaminated the penis post intercourse, is likely to be the source of the skin infection. I'm so confused, Matt.
All right. So here's the breakdown.
Okay.
Ready?
Did I read what happened?
Yes, you did. So
by the way, guys, I'm as confused going in. What I take away from the article, even though I'm the one who read all the words, is this dude got some shit and vomit on his dick. And then he had sex with his wife. Is that right?
All right. So he got food poisoning from rice that was left out for too long.
So he got the food poisoning.
So he got food poisoning. Then he had vigorous sex with his wife, which exacerbated the food poisoning to the point where he was experiencing diarrhea and vomiting.
While he was having sex with his wife?
No, afterwards.
Okay.
So some of that diarrhea and vomit, mostly the diarrhea, got on his penis and infected it with the bacteria.
But why? What does the vigorous sex have to do?
It increased the blood flow
Yeah.
and circulated the bacteria in his system quicker than if it had just been regular food poisoning.
Yeah, but why? But why? It went to his dick?
No, the poop that had the bacteria in it got on his dick.
Copy. So vigorous sex, the fact that his heart rate went up.
Yeah, the sex basically made the food poisoning happen quicker. And then when he was experiencing vomit and diarrhea, some of that splashback got on his dick and infected it with the rice bacteria.
By the way, mental note, take dick out of toilet when you have diarrhea. By the way, not that it's in the water, well, but I'm just going to lift it. This goes back to an invention I wanted to have, which is a nut cup, where when you sit down on the toilet as dudes, you could put your dick and your nuts in a little cup, so they're not down in the mix. So, hey, Brookstone, if you want to go in with me on a nut cup, where and maybe it could clean your balls at the golf course and like a lavender spray. Spitballing right now.
Yeah, poop shield for the nuts.
Yeah. It like at a buffet.
Like sneeze guard?
Yeah, like a sneeze guard. Okay. We'll do one more and then I got to get out of here. There's a couple in here that make me very interested. Look, just the headline, and I'm not going to read this one, but the headline, Chinese zoo admits pandas are just painted dogs. By the way, those dogs in China are just like, phew, at least we got a gig. You know what I mean? We're not in somebody's soup. But yeah, no, we want to be pandas, man. But this one really interests me. Ready for this? And I tried to make it through a podcast with no poop, but I can't. All right, here we go. The headline is Nobel Prize. Scientists who discovered mammals can breathe through their anuses receive Nobel Prize. What? All mammals can breathe through their anuses? And I'm going to go on record and say right now, what's a mammal? Matt?
I believe it's
Is that is a shark an animal or a mammal?
No, it's not a mammal.
Animal. We're mammals. We're animals.
Yes.
We're mammals.
I think mammals are ones who can't breathe underwater.
Mammals can't breathe underwater.
Correct.
Animals can breathe underwater?
No.
That can't be right.
Amphibians can breathe underwater.
Let's Google what a mammal is.
Okay.
I don't mind not knowing. I have ridiculed people for not knowing the difference on TV shows when I pretended like I did. You don't know what a mammal is? Mammal. A mammal, a warm-blooded vertebrate animal of a class that is distinguished by the possession of hair or fur, secretion of milk by females, the nourishment of the young, and typically the bird. Okay. Okay, so that's a lot of animals are mammals, right?
From the Latin mama breast.
Yeah, okay. So technically we're mammals. So all mammals can breathe through their anuses? Is this a skill set that I didn't know I could have? Are you telling me I could pretend I could hold my breath and people would think I was holding my breath and I would just be breathing out of my butthole?
I wonder if the Pujitsu guy can do this.
I am so scientist. And by the way, how is that what a fart is? Is just an exhale? I'm really getting a different. Okay. Because I exhale a lot, apparently. In any mammal? And how did you figure this out? Why were you that close to a mammal's butthole? Were you like, is he breathing? And what I'm dying to know. That picture is bananas. Can you click on that on the article? Is that possible? Okay. Yeah, can you show that picture there? he's got a balloon, I believe, over his butthole. There's no way he blew up that balloon with his butthole. It looks like but that is a team of researchers give a lighthearted demonstration of their work, which found that many mammals are capable of breathing through their anus. Okay, many mammals. The world still holds many unanswered questions. No shit. But thanks to the efforts of research teams awarded the IG Nobel Prize on Thursday, some questions. But by the way, nobody had this question. You're answering questions that nobody was like, I wonder if I can breathe through my butthole. That's probably not true. There's probably some dudes who have thought that. I wonder if I can breathe through my butthole. But giraffes aren't walking around like, thank God. Yeah, I don't know what this thing on my face is, but that thing back there where the poop comes out. So glad I can breathe through that. You know? We now know that many mammals can breathe through their anuses. In a 2-hour ceremony, a quirky scientist is celebrating audience members. Okay, all right. Japanese research team discovered that mammals can breathe through their anuses. They say in the paper that this potentially offers an alternative way of getting oxygen into critically ill patients. If you hooked up my tank to my butthole, and I, first of all, actually wouldn't. I think that would be real funny. I would need a picture and an IG post immediately. But I feel like you just opened up the new TikTok trend. Like, I feel like we are going to see a bunch of people with balloons on their butthole, and we're going to end up with a lot of balloons that have poop in them. Because people are going to be pushing, is there a skill set to breathing through the butthole? Now, is that what a queef is? Is it a butthole queef? Is it true breathing? Because the lungs are up here, gentlemen. It feels like a much longer trip for it to go through all of. Is there a direct passage? Are the lungs hooked up to the asshole? Did I not know this? This is what gets me. Let's take a look. I'll read off of there because I can see that better. This put out a way to get out a ventilator, especially if the ventilator and artificial lung supplies run low, like they did here. Okay, we don't need that one. Can you scroll down a little more? Let's see what. And that's not it. Okay. Live demonstrations. Okay. Well, that's about it right there. But that is.
It seems like they're inventing a butthole respirator.
So you're going to bring people back to life through their butthole?
Well, it says if ventilator and artificial lung supplies run low.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, that they would give you oxygen through your butthole. But I'm just so curious. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Nah, that's bullshit. Prove it. And prove that it's not a fart. Prove it. There's no way that is a thing because it doesn't attach. I'm not a doctor, but your butthole is not attached in any way, shape, or form to your lungs.
You know what it reminds me of? Have you ever seen The Abyss? The movie The Abyss?
Yes.
You know that part where like they breathe in that liquid that has oxygen in it? I think it's like that.
But you're still dealing with your lungs that are attached to your mouth somehow. Your butthole and your lungs they're not together in any way, shape, or form. I mean, your butthole, I think, is attached obviously to your intestines and all that stuff. It leads down into it. But I think the lungs are up here and there's nothing down here beneath the lungs that leads down to I would hate for my butthole to be attached to my lungs because I think my breath would be worse.
So here's what it says in their actual article. It says it approaches attaining systemic oxygenation in both rodent and porcine models, which are pigs. Intrarectal delivery of a liquid form of O2 known as conjugated
perfluorocarbon,
a compound historically used in clinics for liquid ventilation through airway administration. It's highly tolerable and efficacious in ameliorating severe respiratory failure.
Yeah, but I get this. by repurposing the distal gut as an accessory breathing organ. Yeah, but it doesn't, I don't understand, because it says patients who are in critical need of respiratory support, but it's not putting any oxygen into your lungs. It's putting it into your butthole.
But I think the idea here is that it oxygenates the bloodstream.
Got it.
Yeah. And it's just delivered through the butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So liquid O2 delivered through the butt keeps you from dying from oxygen deprivation.
I love how scientists, because you got to sit in a room and be like, guys, what's the hypothesis going to be? You know what I mean? That's how they work on it. What do you think? Well, I wonder if we can breathe through the butt. Deal. Let's put some money into that. Fuck cancer and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. That we don't need answers to that. What can the butt do that we don't know that it already can do? It seems, look, if it's going to save lives, give me the liquid in the butt. That sounds dirty, but if it's going to save lives, I'll take it. But it just feels, I don't know.
At least rats and pigs can be saved by this.
Important.
Yeah.
Guys, that's it. Thank you so much for allowing me to do these stories that make me laugh. Thank you so much for sending in your emails. Thank you so much for being such amazing fans. I want to remind you that October 2nd, my special comes out. Look, man, I'm more proud of this than anything I've ever done. I did it my way, in a way that people told me not to do, which, made me want to do it exactly that way. It's called 4 Stories. It's 4 of the craziest stories from my life. And it's just really good. And I shot it in a way that you've never seen shot. And I left all the warts in there. I wanted you to see what it was like to really do a show at a comedy club, to what our experience is like. I shot it in a way where you feel like you're kind of in the audience. So check it out, October 2nd on my YouTube channel. You can also go to wolfcomedy.com. If you go to wolfcomedy.com, you can enter to win 2 tickets to the show and 2 plane tickets anywhere in the United States. Look, you by the way, caveat, if you're out of the country, you're shit out of luck. You got to get yourself here. But in country, I will fly you and a friend to one of my shows. But you got to go to wolfcomedy.com and sign up. And and then we'll notify you about when the special's coming out and all that shit. wolfcomedy.com if you want to win 2 tickets and 2 plane tickets to a show anywhere in the country. As always, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And I'm so grateful for all of you and for this amazing journey that you've allowed me to go down. I love you. I'll see you out on the road. We'll catch you next week. Thank you so much. Hey, if you like this podcast you just watched, you're going to love the one I'm popping up in your face right now. Check it out.